365 Radio, 365 Sports YouTube page, and the call-in line brought to you by BetUS. Use promo code SICK'EM125 for a 125% bonus on deposits of $100 or more. We'll have a BetUS expert on it next week. By the way, Craig, in the chat, the poll went up 47 minutes ago. Bump, do I have you to credit for this? Put out the poll. Do you want realignment to happen? 59% yes. Monsters in the chat room, Craig.
What do you mean monsters?
They're monsters. They just want to see the world burn.
No, I just think that's what people want. I think maybe I'm off. Bit off on what people are looking for, and who knows? Maybe that's 90% Oklahoma and Texas fans voting, or all SEC fans. I don't know, but maybe it's just what people want. And I can understand the appeal of it. It's just not for me necessarily the way I sort of view the direction it's going. But hey, like I've said multiple times now, I don't know what the future looks like, nor does anyone else. And as far as just what we do know right now, Oklahoma and Texas going to the SEC, as somebody who covers Baylor, it's not a good thing for them. It's not a good thing for the other 7, but it is good for Oklahoma and Texas. So you know what? Can't fault them for it. I mean, you can say that the way that they did it wasn't cool or whatever, and that's fine, but doesn't change the fact that it's a better move for both schools. With the question being, the only question being, as far as it being a good move, is how much winning will actually take place. I know people are very confident right now that they'll just jump in there and win and not have a problem, but I don't know that for sure. I mean, I believe that to an extent, but I also know that they could go in and I could easily see them struggling a little bit. And struggling for Oklahoma is losing 3 games a year. Struggling for Texas would be more along the 500 road, but still, I can see why, there are definitely people who are excited about the change and just how it's going to, sort of make over college football.
Yeah. To the chat from Miles, great show. Is a super chat highbrow enough? Sick 'em. Yes, Miles. Absolutely.
Absolutely. We welcome the super chat. Absolutely. Yes. Thank you, Miles.
Absolutely. Thank you, Miles. And, I thought maybe I had my finger on the pulse. I think maybe it's in people that I'm 41. So I just know that I grew up with, and I just don't want to see it change. I'm fine with seeing it change for the better. I just don't know if this is for the better of college football. I don't know if it's better. I do think that, watching Texas play Alabama is going to be fun. But will it be fun? Will it be fun 20 years from now? I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Auburn and Alabama fans still have fun when they meet up, and Georgia and Florida fans, and Georgia. And I don't know. I look at the SEC matchups, and there's the occasional game that you don't probably get as excited for. There's a couple teams there that aren't exactly big eyeball drawers in football, but even Kentucky's been pretty good as of late, and they've been a little bit more exciting to watch. So. I've thought the same as far as, it all sounds exciting right now. Like, you get that first trip to Tuscaloosa and that first trip to Athens and that first trip to Gainesville, and all of that will be new and exciting. And look, that'll last a few years because you're not going to see all those places in year 1 or even year 2. And ask A&M when they're going to, actually see both sides of the Georgia matchup. They're still waiting on that, right? And it's been, 8 years in the SEC at this point? Right? And they still haven't completed a home and home with Georgia. So it might be a while before they see everywhere. And that'll make the new car aspect of this, last for a while. But 8 years, 10 years from now, is it all kind of the same? Well, it'll be normalized, but I still think it's probably in the minds of fans far more exciting than traveling to Lubbock or to Manhattan or to Waco or to wherever else and playing the same teams you've been playing for the last 20 years. So, look, if I was strictly just an Oklahoma or Texas fan looking at this, and I don't care about the feelings of the other 8 schools. I'm a human being, so I do feel for those schools, but I know I can't worry about them and their futures. You got to worry about what's in front of you and what's important to you. From that standpoint, I would rather do the SEC schedule just from a fan enjoyment point of view. Now, again, what about the wins and losses? All those trips might sound fun. You go and take L's everywhere, then that won't be as much fun, and that'll wear off very quickly. But, we'll see. But again, I totally get the new car aspect and the freshness of all these matchups and trips that makes it exciting.
Yeah. By the way, I'm trying to feature Armstrong. Make sure the phone is potted down right now because I think I accidentally dropped a call, so I hit the callback button. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be good. I just, I wonder about, if it gets just too convoluted or, it's not the same thing or it's not as exciting. It gets kind of.
Yeah, but I mean, like, what are we even talking about? Because right now it's just Texas and Oklahoma, exactly. That's the thing I keep going back to is, we can play, and we've played the game of, if all hell breaks loose, but in terms of what it actually has turned into as of right now, it's two teams moving. And for those two teams, again, it makes sense. It makes sense to be excited as fans of those two teams, although you have to be a little leery of results ultimately. But outside of that, everything else is the same other than the uncertainty of the Big 12, which obviously we're going to have a big focus on. But I think the threat of or the fantasy of all hell breaking loose has been far more prominent than anything has actually led us to believe that that's the case. You know what I mean?
Yeah. By the way, that call I called back,